Hey guys, for this video, the matchup I want to discuss is the matchup between Battle Beast and Kalibak. As many of you may know, Battle Beast was born on the planet Dorn. He was born with a supernatural curse that made him more ferocious and more vicious than the average member of his species. He's basically talented from birth to basically be, a bloodlusted, highly talented warrior that just wanted endless bloodshed and endless combat. Since he was born with this gift, he could never be really, his hunger for, combat and death and overall just violence in general could never be satiated. That's making him basically like an eternal warrior wishing for an honorable death. And then, his opponent being Kalibak. I mean, Kalibak is basically the son of Darkseid. He was born in Apocalypse. He's basically just, Darkseid's henchman, just second in command, just kind of, controlling his parademons, just doing whatever on Apocalypse, basically. Who do I think would win if they were to, have a confrontation? If they were to fight, I think Battle Beast would win. Though I do think that Kalibak is stronger and more durable due to his new god physiology, where I think his disadvantages really shine, and where somebody like Battle Beast can properly exploit them, is due to their mindsets and their skill. Somebody like Kalibak, at least for me, is honestly just more of like a cowardly, bullyish type character. Yes, he's strong. Yes, he'll fight. But somebody like Kalibak kind of strikes me as somebody that'll only fight people he knows he can beat. He preys on the weak. He's merciless and he's cruel to those that he knows that he can be that way too, and those that he knows are physically inferior to him. But unfortunately for somebody like Kalibak, I think he lacks willpower, especially when he fights somebody that's not scared of him, that's very willful, very courageous, and willing to fight him. And not only that, but somebody that won't back down to him. I think somebody like Kalibak will kind of be, unsettled, but just how ferocious and determined somebody like Battle Beast is to win and will do anything it takes to win. Not only that, but the skill difference between the two is very massive. I don't think somebody like Kalibak is really skilled. I think he just kind of relies on brute force, intimidation, and overall just kind of dominating his opponent just by being just so massive. But somebody like Battle Beast is, so accustomed to that. Somebody that's no stranger to actual combat and confrontation with different types of builds and, and just going up against people with just, varying levels of different, abilities and overall just, combat capabilities. Not only that, I feel like Kalibak will honestly kind of cower down once he kind of figures out that, this guy's kind of built different. I think it will kind of, waver his confidence / his determination to win. And I think somebody like Battle Beast can easily exploit that. You might even take that as disrespect, saying somebody like Kalibak kind of, masquerades himself as kind of like a warrior or like a combat person, somebody that takes combat seriously, but is honestly just kind of like a cowardly individual that just only preys on the weak. I think, somebody like Battle Beast might be disgusted by that. He might even see that as like, okay, like this guy's just kind of like a cowardly person.